The next element of art we are going to take a look at is shape. There are two different types of shape. You can have geometric and organic shapes. Geometric shapes are the ones you encounter more in math and in man-made objects. Organic shapes are more natural. You see them more often in nature. Geometric shapes have very defined edges, straight sides. They can be measured, they can be recreated mathematically. Organic shapes are much more free-flowing. They don't really follow the rules that geometric shapes do. One artist who works a lot with shape in his artwork is Henri Matisse. You may have heard of Matisse, or you may have seen his artwork. He's very famous. He is especially known for his paintings, but another kind of artwork he chose to work in was collage. Here you can see a collage piece by Matisse. He's using a bunch of organic shapes. They don't have any really defined edges, they're free-flowing, and he's put them together to create the image of two dancers. Here's another piece that focuses mostly on organic shapes. You can see there's depictions of apples, what look like leaves. There's even a figure, a human figure, up in the top right-hand corner. And if you look then on the left side, there's also a form of a parrot. This is an artwork where Matisse has played with both geometric and organic shapes. He's focused primarily on the organic shapes in the foreground with a geometric shaped background. This artwork kind of does the opposite, or it does a mix of everything. He has geometric and organic shapes both in the foreground, the middle ground, and also the background. We're going to take a look now at form. Form is what happens when you take a shape and you make it three-dimensional. Just like with shapes, you can have geometric forms and organic forms. Geometric forms, you see these often with things made by people, for example, buildings, houses, different machines, and organic forms are again found more in nature. You can think about mountains, trees, how the landscape is formed. Artists use form in a variety of ways. Here you see a couple of examples of very geometric formed artworks. They're really thinking more concretely, mathematically about form, and they're playing with it. This black and white artwork is really, again, playing with value, how things can be set up next to each other and create an interesting composition or image. Here's a little different look at form. This person has used geometric shapes and built them up in a way, changed the value here and there to make an organically formed squirrel. We're going to go back to Matisse for just a second, and we're going to take a look at how he uses form in his artwork. I have a couple examples of how he has created three-dimensional objects in his artwork. We see a vase here and a bowl, for example, which feel very three-dimensional. However, I do want to point out that Matisse really didn't focus so much on realistic form. He simply thought of the idea of form. What is the idea of a three-dimensional vase or a three-dimensional pitcher of water? And he kind of played with it a little bit. And he very often, as you can see in this last painting, very often just chose to create very, very simple form in his artwork. For example, the stairs, they feel formed, they feel three-dimensional, but they're not super defined. He's letting shape, and in this painting, color, do most of the work in his painting. So there you have it. We have now learned about line, shape, and form. As you continue making art, think about shape. How do you use shape? What shapes interest you? How can you layer shapes? And I challenge you also to think about form. It doesn't mean you have to create things or draw things that are 100% realistic and formed exactly as they are in real life, but I do want you to consider the three-dimensionality of objects in your artwork.